Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. After more than a year of war, Israel may be on the verge of a ceasefire with Hezbollah. The Israeli Security Cabinet is considering an agreement today.
Even if there is a ceasefire, Israel's making it clear that the country will go back to war if necessary to protect itself. Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, announced some of the terms of the ceasefire.
It's not going to happen overnight. There will be a few stages, few requirements. The most important condition for us is the withdrawal of Hezbollah north of the Litani. We said it from the beginning, that will be our goal in this war.
Other terms of the deal include Israeli forces to pull out of southern Lebanon within 60 days, Hezbollah forces to retreat north of the Litani River, the Lebanese army and the UN force known as UNIFIL to ensure Hezbollah pulls out, a U.S.-led enforcement committee to oversee the ceasefire. According to the agreement, a U.S. letter will guarantee Israel has the freedom to take action in Lebanon if Hezbollah attempts to rebuild its military.
But we're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line. And we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
More than 60,000 Israelis from the Israeli-Lebanese border area still remain away from home after more than a year because of Hezbollah attacks. They may not be able to return for up to 2 months. Former Israeli Defense Forces intelligence officer and founder of the Alma Research Center, Zarit Zahavi, went on Instagram to point out what she sees as the danger in the deal.
But the gap lies with the question of whether Hezbollah will be able to recover or not. After what happened in October 7th, Israelis are not willing to enable Hezbollah to recover. This is not going to happen. We cannot rely on just promises. We need to make sure that Hezbollah is not capable of threatening us and our families over here in the north.
Days before the ceasefire, Hezbollah fired more than 500 rockets and missiles into Israel, damaging several buildings and wounding several Israelis, while sending millions of Israelis to bomb shelters. At the same time, the IDF struck more Hezbollah command centers in Beirut and dozens of other Hezbollah sites throughout Lebanon. However, Internal Security Minister Ben-Gvir criticized the agreement on X since it stopped short of victory. Alex Trayman of the Jewish News Syndicate says the U.S. pressured Israel to accept the deal.
Nobody knows exactly why, when the Biden administration is so close to leaving office, why the pressure has finally gotten to Netanyahu. What is it that the Biden administration is threatening Israel with, aside from potentially allowing a UN Security Council resolution against Israel to pass in the coming weeks? And we don't know what a UN Security resolution could look like at this stage, but apparently the threats are grave enough that Netanyahu is taking them very seriously.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Critical hours ahead, and the pressure on Netanyahu is amazing. Obviously, the U.S. wants a deal done. Of course, they're allowing, if Hezbollah regroups and rebuilds, Israel to take action. But the international community has been on Netanyahu for months, almost a year. But people in Israel's leadership are calling a truce deal, a surrender. They're calling it dangerous. Others are saying it is shameful. So the pressure on Netanyahu is amazing. And now he's got to deal with a Biden administration that's heading out. Donald Trump and his cabinet are going to be coming in. And if Joe Biden's looking for a mic drop kind of moment on his way out, look what I have done, it's up to Netanyahu to deliver. So critical hours ahead. In other news, the legal battles against President-elect Trump are coming to an end. John Jessup has that story and more from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John.
Thank you, Andrew. Special counsel Jack Smith moved to abandon 2 criminal cases against Trump because longstanding Justice Department policy says sitting presidents cannot face criminal prosecution, although Smith made it clear he believes in the case itself. Trump has long described the investigations as politically motivated. The president-elect posting on his social media platform, quote, "These cases, like all of the other cases I've been forced to go through, are empty and lawless and should never have been brought, end quote. Well, the incoming president also announced last night he plans to impose major new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China as part of an effort to crack down on illegal immigration and drugs, writing, quote, both Mexico and Canada, have the absolute right and power to easily solve the long-simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do, it is time for them to pay a very big price. Trump's latest move comes after he confirmed plans recently to declare a national emergency over the country's immigration crisis. As part of that, he seeks to use the U.S. military to carry out mass deportations. CBN's Charlene Aaron spoke with Latino faith leaders about the potential impact of the move.
An estimated 11 million unauthorized migrants live in the United States, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The reported plan to mobilize the National Guard to assist with mass deportations has put many in the Hispanic community on edge.
Any language of mass deportation will send a chill up the Latino evangelical church's spine.
Incoming border czar Tom Homan says criminals will be the initial focus.
There hasn't been enough focus on criminal aliens, specifically these alien gangs like Tren de Agua and MS-13, but President Trump has promised that public safety threats and national security threats are their priority right out of the gate.
Pastor Gabriel Salguero leads the National Latino Evangelical Coalition. He tells CBN News why he believes more than 40% of Latinos voted for Trump despite harsh immigration rhetoric.
Some of the social issues, as you know, Hispanic evangelicals, we tend to be socially conservative on some of those issues, and I think those were priorities, particularly amongst Latino and Latina evangelicals.
Salguero also believes mass deportation will likely affect Latino churches, and many are preparing for it.
The National Latino Evangelical Coalition has had several national calls with our pastors to say, have our immigration ministries and our attorneys ready to respond to any legal questions. The second thing is we are partnering with our sister churches in Latin America to see how they are receiving this news and how they're going to respond.
While most Americans agree with deporting violent criminals, Matt Sorens with World Relief says many evangelicals don't want families separated.
What he means by using the military to carry out the largest deportation in American history would be large numbers of immigrants who've been in the country for many years, who do not have any criminal histories, who in many cases have U.S.-born children. I think that would be very concerning to us at World Relief and to a lot of the evangelical Christians that we interact with.
The desire of Reverend Samuel Rodriguez of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference is that more Americans will view these complex issues of immigration and the border through a biblical lens.
With Matthew 25 and Leviticus 19, it should be a lens of compassion and the rule of law. Romans 13, obey the government as it pertains to laws that are in there for the preservation of liberties and rights and the security of families and homes.
Meanwhile, Salguero is trusting for a compassionate response.
We're hoping that people can reconcile a humane immigration reform without having this deleterious impact on our families and our congregations.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Thank you, Charlene. Well, moving away from the world of politics, it's the holiday season, meaning it's time for a Thanksgiving tradition at the White House. For two very fortunate fowls, they started off the week with a presidential pardon by President Biden at a ceremony Monday on the South Lawn, marking the 77th annual National Thanksgiving Turkey Presentation. This year's turkeys are Peach and Blossom, named after the Delaware state flower, which symbolizes resilience. Leading up to their moment in the spotlight, the turkeys stayed in a luxurious suite at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel near the White House. Both turkeys will head to a farm in Minnesota to live out the rest of their days far from anyone's Thanksgiving table, and very good for them. Andrew, back over to you.
Thank you, John. Well, with all the heavy-duty news out there that can really weigh on us, it's kind of light and refreshing to see a story like that started back in the Truman administration, honoring farmers and things. But, Terry, I didn't realize until this year that those turkeys every year stay in like a ritzy, glamorous hotel. Did you know that?
No. You know, I'm okay with that since they're going on to live out their life. And if it was that and then Thanksgiving dinner... Beware the big fancy hotel suite.
I did read someone thought to take note to say they do not sleep in the beds, that they have their own bedding. I don't know why that was in question, but
yeah, well,
apparently the mini bar bill was huge this year. I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, it's a cute tradition, and it's really sweet every year to see
that was
happen.
an enormous turkey, can I just say?
Huge.
Yeah,
huge.
I don't know.
So happy Thanksgiving,
yes,
everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving indeed.